In this video, we will briefly describe how a video game genre will be ported from traditional physical controls onto touchscreen-based devices. When adapting a game genre onto tablet devices, previous attempts have been wide and varied, ranging from virtual controls to gestures and physical movements of the device. When transferred to touchscreen devices, FPS games were either on rails, which forced movement of the user to be restricted and pre-programmed, or they utilized virtual controls so they could allow the user to have complete control over the character. However, casual games were designed from the ground up on touchscreens. They utilized gestures and movements of the device to allow the user direct interaction with what is on screen. For this study, we examined the genre of narrative games. We will be porting over the classic 80s arcade game Dragon's Lair onto the iPad to conduct this study. Dragon's Lair is an interactive cartoon which follows a knight trying to save a princess from a dragon. The original would let you watch the character make his way through the castle and require you to choose the correct action at a certain time to allow the character to proceed. The study will look at what is the most intuitive and easy to learn control scheme for this genre, and it will conduct user studies to determine what this control scheme will be. Utilizing Apple's iOS SDK and Xcode, we implemented the game onto the iPad, tracking every single stat we could. Players then tested the game. Every single piece of detail was recorded, so as to not miss anything. The players' gestures were completely retained, specifically the X and Y coordinates, timestamps, and scene stamps, and also how long it took them to finish the game. This was all recorded on video for review later. We then went through all the data and looked for any patterns of what type of gestures the user tended to do, compared to what gestures they rarely did, and then looked at what scene they did those gestures at. Then we ran a second set of studies where users were given a close to final version of the game, and they were tasked to play it. Here we were looking to see if the gestures implemented creating a meaningful experience. This was done by recording the number of times users died, and why they died, and at what scenes. The result would then be a proper game with intuitive gestures that completely make sense to the user.